Asante Sana. Now, my very dear sister and friend, Ambassador Dr. Amina Mohammed, my good friend and brother P.S. Okudo, all the heads and representatives of our sagas and other departments that have been domiciled under the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage. And ladies and gentlemen, members of the Fourth Estate, I am delighted to be here this morning and to say that it is moments such as this that fill my heart with pride for being Kenyan. I have had the privilege to be part of His Excellency President William Ruto's transition team. And I want to say that it has been amazing to witness and to be part of this seamless, harmonious transition from our fourth administration to the fifth administration. If this morning you have no other reason to be proud to be Kenyan, be proud that nowhere else on this African continent, indeed on the face of the earth, do you have this kind of elaborate, seamless, harmonious transition from one administration to another. Asante sana. Without embellishing anything, I want to tell you, without any fear of contradiction, that if President William Ruto had asked me to choose which pair of shoes to step into, I wouldn't have wished for or chosen better pair of shoes than those I step in here this afternoon. I'm stepping into the shoes of truly a Kenyan giant, a Kenyan hero by any definition, by any stretch of the imagination. A lady that I have known for a long while, a lady that I have observed and have had the pleasure to work with. Early in my days as a member of Parliament, I had the privilege to work with Ambassador Dr. Amina as she anchored the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, a ministry that had the critical responsibility to transition Kenya from what I like to call our first republic after independence to the second republic, born by reason of our Constitution 2010. And that ministry presided over that process. We got a new constitution that was promulgated by the late President Mwai Kibaki on August the 25th, 2010. And I know that heroes don't come bigger than makers of the village, of being a central part of, because I co-chaired the Parliamentary Select Committee on Constitutional Review, together with my brother Abdul Mohammed, then Member of Parliament for Mandela Central. I want to acknowledge the role you played in that critical process, which for me has made it possible for an event such as this to happen, because it is under our new constitutional dispensation that we dreamed and envisioned this kind of a country, this kind of a nation. I have watched you serve this country thereafter as Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs and as Kenya's premier diplomat in that role. You performed splendidly. Splendidly. And when I arrived at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in March 2018, one of my regrets that I arrived on the scene just as you exited the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to take on your next year duty at the Ministry of Education, where again you did a splendid job. If Kenyans had listened to you as Cabinet Secretary then, some of the hue and cry and regrets on CBC would have been dealt in time, as we say, as teach in time saves 9. So I don't want to call this a farewell. I don't want to call this a goodbye. I want to call this as an opportunity for us to transition to the next stage of serving our country. And I want to wish you well, while assuring you that in similar manner that I have continued to circulate within your circuit, I will continue to do so, with your kind permission. So nimemshukuru Mheshimiwa Waziri anayeondoka, and as we say, a leader is as good as the team around him. I'm a believer in the African saying that if you want to move very fast, you go alone. But if you want to move very far, you go with others. I want to believe that the Cabinet Secretary has come this far because he has had a fantastic team moving, lock, stock and barrel in sync with her steps. And I want to look forward to doing the same with this team. The ministry has undergone a bit of rejigging in its architecture, and now from the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage, it has now been baptized the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Sports and the Arts. A large percentage of what Cabinet Secretary Amina has presided over will still constitute this rejigged ministry, with the additional State Department of Youth Affairs and additional responsibilities in the arts, including music. And I want to acknowledge the team from the Presidential Music Commission. And the films, and generally what we call the creatives, fine art, performing art, and the like. I consider it to be an important rejigging of the architecture of the ministry, because it has now consolidated pretty much all aspects that are important in terms of serving the best interests of our young people and servicing the talent space. The talent space, whether it is sports or artistic. I feel privileged and greatly honored to have the responsibility to head this newly rejigged ministry. And I want to thank His Excellency President William Ruto for this honor and privilege to serve in this ministry. And also to thank the National Assembly that found me worthy of clearance or confirmation after my nomination. Churchill was saying that the entirety of the English citizenry or population owed so much to this small team of elite airmen that risked their lives every day to protect the English airspace from relentless bombing. I want to borrow those words but flip them in addressing our youth, our artists, our sports people, and tell you, never in the history of any country has so much been awed by so many to so few. And I say that because brand Kenya globally owes its shine to our sports people, to our artists. Wherever you are in this country, whether you are in the villages of Budalani where are traced by original, ordinary natural domicile, or you are from Balambala or Vipingo, I am sure, no matter your language, your tribe, your religion, your heritage, your heart always flutters when you hear the Kenya National Anthem being played in some of the most crazy parts, distinct parts of this world, from Samoa to St. Nevis and Kitts, all sorts of places. You are sitting there and you hear Kenya National Anthem being played. Why? Because some Kenyan athlete has won some marathon. Or our rugby sevens team has just put in some incredible performance. Or recently, a young lady called Okutoi, shattering the glass ceiling and winning a title at the Australian Open or at Wimbledon. Never in the history of a nation has so much been awed by so many to so few. Kenyans, you owe our sportsmen so much because our brand depends on them. Our brand depends on our artists. You know, when Lupita Nyong'o won the Oscar, that was actually the first ever Oscar to any artist of any color, complexion, or contraption to go to an African artist. That one by Lupita Nyong'o was a first. She's such an icon. And the branding value this country has received from the Lupita Nyong'o stardust is incredible. You can't pay for it. You can't buy that kind of brand power, however much money you spend. Our artists and our sports people are our extraordinary ambassadors who serve this country with so much diligence, so much dedication. CS, I want to applaud you for returning the Safari Rally to the WRC circuit. And you talked of the incredible historic numbers that watched this event. You two gentlemen seated in that corner, you deserve national honors. If it hasn't been done yet, it must be done. Thank you very much for supporting the Cabinet Secretary to make that incredible journey. And I told Phineas that we must maintain that momentum and we must move the Safari Rally back to the people. From Naivasha to Kwale, from Kwale to Migori, and make the Safari Rally an event. I mean, when I was a little boy, I would walk for miles, sometimes not even to see the car. Just the dust, the plume of dust alone would just convince me that I have been part of the excitement of the Safari Rally. It is a powerful branding platform for us as a country. Never has so much been owed by so many to so few in the history of any country. We are sports people, and Madam Secretary, I want to assure you that I want to continue the momentum of the mantra you set while here of putting the athlete at the center of our action, of our activity, of our planning by this ministry. Let me conclude by saying that very, very quickly, as I assume office, there are certain targets that I would want Kenyans to know, certain immediate plans that we would want to start running with very fast. We want to immediately get down on dealing with the FIFA imbroglio, the imbroglio around FKF. I have been sufficiently briefed by the Cabinet Secretary. And I believe I will be paying very keen attention to the measures that have already been proposed, put in place, so that we can find a solution to this gridlock. A solution that is in sync with the call by His Excellency President William Ruto of fidelity to the rule of law. The CMOs that have been licensed by Kikobo to manage these spaces like the Music Society, the Music Society of Kenya, that have a responsibility. I am sure that they can easily collect billions of shillings from their activities. How much of it are you giving back to the artists? Before the end of this year, I want to see a check, not a light check. I want to see a serious check from the CMOs going directly to the pockets of artists in terms of royalties. Because in the final analysis, as I conclude, we want to turn sports and the arts into the mega industry it should be, providing employment and livelihood for our young people and powering the economic revival of Kenya. We can do it, we should do it, we must do it, and we will do it.